Yeah, disappointing loss here at home because the bottom line is we didn't execute our game plan, and at both ends of the court, defensively or offensively. It's frustrated from our starters on down. You can't win a game when one player has more than 50% of your points and nobody else is helping him. And just a disappointing loss. We were set up for success with what we've still got in our 3 regular season games that are left. It's our next to the last home game here this year. I thought this was one of our best opportunities of maybe getting some confidence and doing some good things against South Dakota State. But they played a good game. We didn't execute it either end of the floor tonight, and wouldn't have mattered if it was on the road or here at home. I've gotten to the point because of our success here at the Mabee Center this year that I've really trusted the way that our players prepare for their home games, and I thought this was very reminiscent of our game against Grand Canyon. And there's a reason why those are our 2 losses here at the Mabee Center this year. We did not. I don't believe we came focused. I don't believe we came focused or paid attention to the details of what the game plan was all about, and we deserved what we got tonight. Is the bottom line. So. Question me on that. Be great.
So 2 road games left. How important are they for you guys?
Well, they're important just because you want to be playing your best basketball going into the conference tournament. And I think up until tonight, I think we've been moving that direction. And, we're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, after tonight. Obviously, South Dakota State's got a great size advantage on us. That surprises people when we've got a 6'7" center. But a lot of the things that we're able to do against other teams in our conference, you just can't do them against South Dakota State because from point guard to 5, they're all 6 foot or over. And so I even thought little things like tonight when Vicky would find Faith underneath the basket and Faith's shot gets blocked. Toy usually can get in there and get her shot off a little bit, and her size hurt her tonight. But my frustration with that was, I'm going off on a tangent here for you, David, but they're obviously very important just to get us in the right frame of mind again with what we need to do. Regardless, win or lose on the road trip this next week, we've got 3 games to kind of right the ship and to, you heard me talk a lot at the first of season that if losses expose weaknesses about you and you can learn from that, then that's a good thing. And I just thought tonight, I just think our attention to the details of our game plan got exposed. We just didn't do what we were coached to do for the last 48 hours, and so that was a surprise tonight. I don't want to be surprised, whether it's on the road or whether it's at home or whether it's at the conference tournament. I want to know that when we ask something of our players, that's what's going to be given. And so as long as that takes place on the road this next week, I'll be a happy coach, so that's the team I got to find again. So
it looked like you guys were struggling at times against their zone defense. Was that just lack of execution?
It's a lack of movement by our guards. I was really disappointed in our perimeter players. Vicky did a great job. We kind of adjusted where Vicky normally catches the ball, and she was just as effective, where she caught it a little bit higher right in the soft spot of that zone. But then I was real disappointed with our movement out of it. I won't name players' names in here, because it was a trio of guards at all times, but there's just very little creativity from our guards tonight. I thought we had some good combinations between Vicky and Deddy, or we had good combinations between Vicky and Faith, but the good combinations never included a perimeter player tonight against that zone. And I just think they were coasting, and they weren't engaged offensively. And so our perimeter was a big part of why we struggled against the zone tonight, not our post play.
Do you think South Dakota State is maybe the toughest opponent that you guys would have to face in the tournament?
Yeah, and I think it's all about matchups too. I think South Dakota State is just a tough matchup for us. I think from top to bottom, everybody has their matchups. There's other opponents that struggle with other teams perennially. And I just think this year, with who we are this year and where our strengths are and where our weaknesses are, I just think we're a tough matchup with South Dakota State. But I would anticipate that we're probably going to have to go through them, at some point in the conference tournament in order to be successful. So we've got to kind of get that part of it figured out a little bit. But at the same time, it's things that have worked for us against other teams aren't working against South Dakota State, but our margin of error was closer than it really appeared tonight, I felt like, too. I was just, we won the rebounding battle. Turnovers weren't that lopsided our direction over South Dakota State. We were able to force them tonight, too. We actually took 2 more field goal attempts than they did, but the difference was, the 3s versus 2s. And then I thought, too, just defensively, we just got too far behind the 8 ball in the first half. We gave up 39 points on our home court defensively, and that's where my true disappointment is, because because that's what we take pride in here at the Mabee Center, and it's just too big of a hole to dig out of in the second half. So.
Were you happier with your team in the second half?
No. No, I wasn't. I never felt like we really got all 5 girls on the same page tonight. And I was happy with some individuals here and there spots, but it never gelled tonight. It truly never gelled tonight, and that's a disappointment. I thought we had a good crowd tonight. We had good support here with it being our next to the last home game of the year, and we just didn't show well tonight. We absolutely got what we earned tonight with that loss, and we didn't deserve the win tonight.
One more. We saw Deddy and Vicky on the court
Mm-hmm.
together at times tonight. Is that something you think we'll see more going forward?
I think it just depends on who the opponent is. There were some times tonight that it was a good matchup for the lineups that they had in, but then there were some lineups that they had in that it was not a good matchup. I was trying to just kind of get a little bit more offensive, just a little more. I was actually trying to get some stuff back out for our guards, and Deddy's just a bigger target than Ty or Faith are inside, and that's kind of what we went to. But then you give something up defensively, when you go with Deddy as well. So, yeah, it just kind of depends. Kind of depends. Well, again, we're talking about matchups, and it kind of depends on who we're playing and what the situation is and what we're needing at the time.